Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. I thought I would do one of these album wars that people like Peter at the Lizard King channel, Jeff at Calico Silver and Dominic at Dr. Combat 64 have been doing of late. But I really wanted to do two albums that I honestly don't know which one I prefer. And I put up a poll on the community post. One was T-Rex the Slider v Electric Warrior, which came in second, and the one that won was David Bowie's Hunky Dory against Bowie's Ziggy Stardust. Now these two albums were the first two Bowie albums I ever bought. I bought them in 1980. Ziggy came first and then Hunky Dory came about 3 or 4 days later, and really I don't know which one I prefer. I did a Bowie ranking video nearly 3 years ago now, and I think Ziggy was 4th and Hunky Dory was 5th, but had to put them in some order. It could have switched. So we'll do this ranking where we take each song 1 of each album, see which one I prefer, song 2, song 3 and so forth, and then total up what album gets the most points. But I'm going to do it another way as well, just to see if it comes out with the same result. And this time I'm going to actually rank the songs, which I'll show you the ranking. I've done the ranking already. And then rank the highest song, the best song, against each other of each album, going down to my least favourite. Okay, so the first head-to-head is going through the album, or the albums. And the first from Hunky Dory is Changes, track 1. Fantastic song. Really, it's one of those songs that defines David Bowie. Changes, turn and face the strange. You know, absolutely brilliant track. It was the first single from RCA as well, but failed to chart, even though it did chart after his death. It was also the B-side of the #1 hit Space Oddity. Against 5 Years. Now this is the one that fades in. It's an apocalyptic song full of doom and gloom, but it's absolutely fantastic. Which one will I give it to? It's difficult. I'm going to give it to Changes. It's just an iconic song. Then we have track 2 is Oh You Pretty Things, which was actually recorded and was a hit for Peter Noone before it was released on Hunky Dory. Incidentally, Hunky Dory was released in December 1971. Ziggy was released in June 72, so there's only 6 months between them. Yeah, another really good song. I always thought the chorus was a little bit choppy, but I enjoy it. I think it's very good. It's better with the next song attached, which is going to be a problem. And the second song off this is the Forgotten Soul Love, which I don't understand why it's one of the best songs off this. So I'm going to give it to Soul Love. I think this should have been the single after Starman, before John I'm Only Dancing, or even as a double A side with John I'm Only Dancing. So that's one for Soul Love. Next we have track 3, 8-line poem. Very short song, as I say, works really well with Oh You Pretty Things. On its own, maybe not so much, but track 3 you have a magnificent Moon Age Daydream, which is a Bowie classic, and this obviously gets it. So then we have the big one, the big challenge, and it's Life on Mars, which is a single I bought in 1973 when I was 7 years old. I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic song. But we also have Starman as well, which was the single that started it all off for him. Okay, he had Space Oddity in '69, but not much after that. And the Top of the Pops performance of this is iconic. I really don't know. I really wanted to put an equal, but I have to pick one. And at the moment, I would probably listen to Starman more, so Starman gets it. So I think we're about 3-1 up with Ziggy at the moment. Next we have Cooks, which is the little acoustic ditty written for a son, Zoe, who is now Duncan Jones. And Throw Your Homework Onto the Fire was nicked by the Smiths for Sheila Take a Bow. Beautiful little song, you know, just simple but charming. And it's against It Ain't Easy from Ziggy Stardust. No surprises. Cooks wins. I don't particularly like It Ain't Easy. Then we have from Hunky Dory, Quicksand, track number 6, and this is absolutely brilliant. Acoustic song with gorgeous chorus, absolutely beautiful. It's a very wordy song, quite Bob Dylan-y as well. But yeah, absolutely love it, and was one of the first ones that jumped out at me when I bought this when I was 14. And that's up against Lady Stardust, a song that's supposedly written about Mark Bolan. It's a very good song, very sort of a piano-based number, which would have fit well in Hunky Dory, but I have to give it to Quicksand. I think it's the better song. Okay, then we have Fill Your Heart from Hunky Dory, and this is the song written by Biff Rose, and many people think this is the worst song on the album. I don't think it is. I think it's very joyous, it's very upbeat. Some people think it might be a little bit twee, but I really do like it. Against Star from Ziggy Stardust. I like this, but I don't think it's that brilliant. It's one of the weaker tracks off the album. I don't like the lines Tony went to fight in Belfast for some reason, just never appealed, so I'm giving it to Fill Your Heart. Okay, then we have from Hunky Dory, Andy Warhol, against the rocker Hang On To Yourself, which was the song that Bowie would have performed quite a bit as the opener during the Ziggy days. I have to give the Hang On To Yourself. It is a reworked version from the Arnold Corns studio versions that they did around 1970-71. Much better than the Arnold Corns version, but yeah, really good, catchy song. So Hang On To Yourself wins. Then we have Song for Bob Dylan against Ziggy Stardust. Song for Bob Dylan is okay, but I think it's one of my least favourite on the album. I think it actually is my least favourite. Well, it is, because you'll find that out. Against Ziggy, it's just a classic track, so Ziggy wins it. So I've lost counting where we're at here, but I know the final score, because we have, with this one, Queen Bitch v Suffragette City, two classic rock tracks. This could have sat on Ziggy so well, whereas Lady Stardust could have sat on Hunky Dory so well, and this wins. I do like Suffragette City as well. It's a really good rock and roll number, but Queen Bitch is a little bit extra special for me. I think it's just really good, and it's very Velvet Underground-y as well, so it wins. So far we're at 5-5, which means we have from Hunky Dory, the Bowie Brothers against Rock and Roll Suicide. Both are fantastic songs, but I have to give it to Rock and Roll Suicide. It's an absolutely magnificent song, and it's a perfect way to end an album. Really, really good. The Bowie Brothers is great as well, but I was not too keen on that end bit about I'm starving for my gravy. I wish they had thought of something else, but it's a beautiful song too. But Rock and Roll Suicide is extra special. So going through, we have a winner. We have Ziggy 6, Hunky Dory 5. Okay, we'll do this another way to see if we come out with the same result, and this is the way I rank the songs from my personal favourite to my least favourite for each album. Okay, so the first one, Life on Mars v Starman, the same as the last time, so I have to give it to Starman. Queen Bitch v Soul Love, and although I love Queen Bitch so much, Soul Love I think is so underrated, it gets it. Changes v Rock and Roll Suicide, two fantastic songs again. Changes wins this time. Quicksand v Moon Age Daydream. Again, very, very difficult. I would probably go Quicksand, so it wins. The Bowie Brothers v 5 Years, and it's, for me, it's the Bowie Brothers. And then Cooks v Hang On To Yourself, and I just love Cooks. I think it's a fantastic little song, so it wins. Oh You Pretty Things against Ziggy Stardust. and it goes to Ziggy Stardust. And Fill Your Heart, which is really upbeat, as I said, and I love it. It's okay, it's not a Bowie song, but I think it's great. Against Lady Stardust, which, as I said, could have sat on Hunky Dory beautifully. I give it to Lady Stardust. 8-line poem, v Suffragette City. Well, 8-line poem is, I really do enjoy it, but it has to be with Oh You Pretty Things. So Suffragette City wins. And then we have Andy Warhol v Star. I do prefer Andy Warhol. And then my least favourite of each album, and we're sitting at 5-5 here. Song for Bob Dylan against It Ain't Easy, and I give it to Song for Bob Dylan. So doing it this way, Hunky Dory 6, Ziggy Stardust 5. So in this case the winner is Hunky Dory, whereas in the last case it's Ziggy Stardust. So I don't know which is the best. I really don't particularly want to differentiate the two. I think they're both fantastic albums and they go so well together. They are quite different, although there are similarities on each album, but they're two classic albums, and I say only 6 months apart. So my album war was a bit of a disaster, and it was a bit of a truce. So I don't know which is the best. Put down in the comments below what you think, but to me they're both fantastic. Okay, that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.